Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today on Teens Talk TV. Our topic for today is entrepreneurship, and we will be discussing entrepreneurship with our lovely guest. We are honored to have Aysia Hilliard with us today. So, would you mind taking some time to just introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about you, your background, where you're from, and all that other good stuff?
Yes, of course. So my name is Aysia Hilliard. I am a 20-year-old, about to be 21-year-old student at Harvard University. I'm studying biology with a chemistry minor and a specialization in genetics. But more importantly, I am an entrepreneur, the owner of Chopsticks Lip Balm, and I've been running my business going on 4 years now. It'll be 4 years in December. And I'm originally from Atlanta, Georgia, but I live here now in DC because I go to school here, like I said. HU, you know, and and yeah, that's just a little bit about me. And yeah.
Okay, awesome. So, can pretend like I have no idea what your business is and how you would explain it to anybody who's just like that you would bump into on the street. Just kind of explain it, and then tell us how you came up with this brilliant idea.
Okay, so my business is called Chopsticks Lip Balm. It's a play on words for the word chapstick, but replace chap with trap because all of the flavors are inspired by trap artists. I also do have pop sticks now, but I originally started off with chopsticks, and we have flavors such as Gucci Mango, which is inspired by Gucci Mane, and a mango flavor. I have Sticky Minaj, Post Malone. I have Tropical Juice World. I have 20 plus flavors, so I won't name them all. Have some stuff for imagination. But yeah, so that is my business concept. I started that when I was 17, a junior in high school. It was 100% on accident. I never really imagined myself being an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurship wasn't really on the table. That was, prime college application time. So I was really focused on like, what did I want to do as an adult? So, and you think about like college and then a career, not really owning your own business, especially at that age. But I slipped up and said the word chopsticks when I was trying to say try chapstick. And then I was like, what a funny idea, what a funny concept. And I just went off the idea as a joke. But when I told my dad, because he does have other businesses and he believes in like passive incomes, he encouraged me to make the business a real thing. So we started that night. And ever since then, this has been my life, especially during the pandemic when it blew up on TikTok, a social media platform that I'm sure everyone's very acquainted with. But yeah, that's just how I got started.
That's really cool. So, and I noticed how you said that you started it when you were 17 and you did it with the help of your father. Do you mind going into more detail about like how you started it and like what you did and like what steps you had to take in order to start it?
Yeah, of course. So when I told him about the idea, the first thing that we did was kind of think about how would this even be feasible for us to do. Like he was like, would I want to make the lip balm? Would I want someone else to make it? And we settled on someone else making it by doing white labeling. If you don't know what white labeling is, it's basically a company creates the product. So you can white label candles, lip balm, you can white label a lot of things. Anything that you can slap on a logo to can be white labeled, so that includes lip balm. So we had to find a lip balm company that had a variety of flavors, because by that night, it was only one night, but I think I came up with about 6 or 8 flavor ideas. So we wanted to have variety because we wanted to keep going, and we knew that it would be fun, even if it was just us coming up with the ideas and no one was interested, that we would still want to create more. So we found one that had enough flavors that matched our ideas and just for future flavors as well. And then we kind of priced it out. I think we've paid a lot of attention to the logo, which I will show. That was probably more so something I did because I was not with budgeting and doing all of that, I was like, ooh, fonts and colors. So that's kind of what I was doing that night. But it took us about a month to get the first flavor like actually in our possession after we had started it all up.
And so it's really cool to hear about the fact that your dad has encouraged you and encouraged you to just even do it. So is this something like with school coming back around? I know you said that you kind of like blew up during the pandemic, which I know you were doing school virtually. So that's a little different. But what role does your family have in helping you manage all of the orders you get, which is a lot nowadays?
Yeah, so I just moved to DC this April. So originally, the Chapsticks headquarters was 100% in Georgia at my little house in the suburbs. So that's where all of our like stuff is. Like my parents' dining room is taken up almost floor to ceiling, it feels like, with lip balm and along with our garage and stuff like that. So our dining room is no longer for Thanksgiving. It's literally the Chapsticks headquarters. And so they are a big part. Like my mom, I know I hadn't mentioned her, but she was there the 100% of the time with us while we were doing all of the planning and trying to make sure that this was feasible for us back in 2018. Yeah, so 2018. But so my mom pretty much, like if someone orders right now, my mom's probably going to be the one packing it unless they ask me to package it on video, which is what I do. So I kind of have more so the face of Chopsticks. So when someone wants a video on TikTok or Instagram, then I'll do it here because I have a lot less space since I'm living in an apartment. But yeah, my parents are a big help. They are definitely the 2/3 of Chopsticks, so they probably take up a little bit more than I do as far as like responsibilities. But it's really a family business, but kind of riding on my back.
That's really inspirational how like your whole family like banded together to like help you fulfill your goal of like having this business. And I find that like that's really heartwarming, honestly. Um do you have any tips for like young people who might not have the same support system that you had when it comes to like starting a business or even like going after anything really to yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. A lot of my mutuals that I have on TikTok, other small businesses and entrepreneurs, especially teen entrepreneurs, a lot of them do it 100% by themselves. And honestly, it's inspiring because they are juggling a lot more than and I think I juggle a lot, but I know that they juggle a lot more than I do. But basically, what I see in them is they utilize the things that only young people can understand. And that's why I made the joke about them riding on my back because, and me saying I was the face of Chopsticks, even though like they help just as much as I do, is because a lot of the reason that Chopsticks is doing well and blew up is because of something that only probably young people really know how to do. That's social media. I'm going to tell you, social media is probably the like biggest tool that you can utilize. Like, I mean, the older generations can as well, but like we just know it so much, especially Gen Z, because they grew up knowing this. Like, no one needs to show me a tutorial how to use Instagram. I know how to use it. So that's just I never felt like those people who didn't have their parents to help them package, that they were ever missing out on really anything other than probably arguments that they miss out, that I do not. But yeah, so I think using social media is really their gateway to like to success, basically.
And so it's interesting to hear you talk about other people that you follow. So tell us a little bit about the video that you posted that made you go viral. And in terms of social media, how do you interact with your customers? Do they play any roles in Chopsticks? Do you take like, do people ever DM you like new ideas? Like tell us a little bit about like the social side of this business that you have.
Yeah, so I was blessed, thankful enough to have posted my first TikTok on July 4th of last year, and that went viral by the 7th. And I know a lot of people cannot relate to that, like, especially your first video. But I was also lucky because with the pandemic, way more people were on their phones. So sometimes they don't tell people that kind of little fact because it can seem discouraging, especially if they've already had TikTok. But yeah, that was just circumstantial for me. But my first video was really just me kind of pointing and dancing to Do It by Chloe and Halle, just trying to introduce people to my business. And the only reason I even went on TikTok was because someone reached out to me on Instagram to try to promote my business on TikTok. But I was like, I don't have a TikTok. Who are they going to tag? So I made that video solely off of, I was like, I just need to have something up here. And I thought the video was very ugly, but some people liked it. So it was nice. But yeah, so as far as the social aspect, like with my customers, they are like the biggest drive, I feel like. They're always, if you go in any of my comment sections, they're always telling me, do a flavor based on this person, or they'll give me a suggestion, like flat out with the flavor and the name combination and all that. And I feel like they enjoy doing that, and I always give them chances to do that. I did a contest so that they could vote to see like who had the best flavor when I first went on TikTok, and they really loved that, and that's how we have Pop S'mores now. So that was really fun, and it's important to me that they tell me what they want, because I could come over here and make all the flavors that I want, but it's really about the customers at this point, especially since I have so many flavors. And I hope I answered all the questions. I can only remember like two.
You did, you did. Tolu, do you have any other questions for our lovely guest?
Well, for one, I just want to say that I'm thinking back to when you told us that you're a student at Howard. And I was just kind of wondering, how do you manage to juggle like your social life and school and your business? Because I have a lot of friends at Howard, and I know it's not the easiest place to go to school. So I just want to know, like, what's your secret? Like, how do you like manage your time and like make sure that you're not giving too much of yourself to any one thing?
Yeah, no, that's a really good question. I really try to remember that, you know, I want to make sure, because I'm starting my 20s, that I'm making sure that I'm having fun and enjoying myself, and also limiting myself when it comes to kind of being on the internet so much, since I do have to consume TikTok in order to make them. I did get discouraged at one point because it's just like everyone's posts are viral, mine are this and all that stuff. So it can be draining. So I just take time to like settle. Like I try to post every day. I do. But there's just times when I'm like, today's not the day. I'm a person, you know what I mean? And people should do that. Not a lot of people do, but give yourself breaks. And especially with school, I did give myself slack. I'm like, I'm gonna try as hard as I can. And I still came out with all A's and B's. So I was like, maybe giving myself some slack was not as bad as I thought it was going to end up, because I know myself, and I know that like it's still important to me, so it's still gonna end up good. And as far as my social life, well, everyone kind of experienced that with the pandemic. It was more like virtual friendships, but I feel like I was able to keep in contact with my friends. But it was kind of like it was a two-sided thing. Like Madison texts me, I text her, like all of our friend group, like, so it's like that. But I also am kind of a homebody, so it wasn't too bad.
And so I'm fed up because I keep hearing about all these flavors, but I want to actually see something. So do you have any flavors that you could share or share with us your personal favorites?
Yes, I have all of them with me right now, and I keep it. We also sell these cases, but so this is all of them, and it's a lot. My favorite personally, my favorite right now, I don't know. It's probably Little Pumpkin, which I'm gonna pull that out for you. Sorry, it's my nails. But this one's actually a holiday edition flavor. That sold out during like fall Halloween time, but my followers kind of threatened me to bring this back because they liked it so much. And I know why they liked it, because this is literally my favorite one. But I also really like Sticky Minaj, and I also really like Billie Eilish because it matches my nails right now. So I keep that in my purse. That way people ask me like, oh my gosh, your lip balm matches your nails, then that's a conversation starter. and possibly a customer. But I really love all the flavors for different reasons, and I know some of my followers and me as well like match the lip balm to our outfits because there's so many colors. I know I can't really show it too much, but there are the entire rainbow is in here. So that's really what I like. So all of them are my favorites technically, but yeah, so it just depends on the day and what I'm feeling, like fruity, sweet, citrusy, all that.
Yeah, well, personally, my favorite is Machiana Grande because Ariana Grande is my favorite artist. Gotta get a little promo moment. So I hear we talked about how it got started and how you maintain it, but what is probably like the most frustrating thing or like the most aggravating thing that's happened, but also what helps you or encourages you to keep doing it and like what do you love about it?
Yeah, so the most frustrating probably is part of the social media aspect. Like, you know how social media is, like you can be on a high and the next day be on a low, and that doesn't even have to mean about like views. That could just mean about how people interact with you. When I first started on TikTok, like heavy in the pandemic, still like summertime pandemic, um, a lot of my videos were going viral, but that also means a higher percentage of hate comments, possibly like, oh, this is a dumb idea, like no one's gonna buy this, like it's just lip balm, like y'all are doing too, like little things like that that were just really discouraging and that was frustrating. And honestly, I was kind of glad that my with the pandemic dying down, that so a lot of the engagement did as well. So I didn't really have to be worried like, oh, if I post something, like is people gonna like it? Now I post and I know it's for my followers. Like I know it's for people who want to see my content, and I'm not worried about, you know, it getting on the wrong side of the For You page or something. But the most exciting and fun part about it is honestly, um, I just think that my business is so adaptive, I guess, to like trends, like what people want to hear, because it went from people wanting, oh, well, this was I was about to use a bad example. I was about to say people wanted the baby to now they want BTS, but I forgot the baby's getting canceled. But so anyways, I didn't age well. But yeah, so like in the beginning of the pandemic, it was like, oh, like do the baby, da 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 da. And now it's like, oh, the K-pop stands, the BTS fans are like, oh my gosh, make this one. So it's just fun because it's like how different it is, especially with having the pop sticks line. People want an old school rap stick. So I just feel like it's gonna be able to develop and continue on with the trends.
That is awesome. Tolu, do you have any other questions for Asia? Because if not, I do.
Honestly, not particularly. I just will say that I kind of want to buy a couple now. I already pulled up your page on my phone. Sorry, not sorry. And it looks really interesting. So you might have a new customer actually, but yeah, you can take it from here, Madison.
Um, so we talked about, you're an entrepreneur and you think about things career-wise, you're in school, but the best part about having a business is the money. So if you don't mind me asking, when did you start to see a profit in your business? How long did that take? If it took a really long time, were you discouraged, or were you kind of just like, this is a product that I like and love, and it's okay if I don't make like the most money in the world off of it?
Yeah, so like I said about the initial my first video going viral, I actually went to work that day. So it was like, oh, it's getting a lot of attention. Then I went to my like, I don't know, it was like a 7-hour shift at night. And I came back. My parents were like sitting on the floor, and they don't sit on the floor. I've never seen my dad sit on the floor. And they were like looking down at each other, and I was like, what's going on? They were like, we have 500 orders. They'd never even seen like anything in the queue that, large. And the reason, that we were just kind of in shock is just kind of like, how are we going to do this and all that stuff. So it was kind of our fault why we had that many, because we had discounted our bundles so low that it was just like people were just like, this is such a deal, when they were right. So we actually did lose money from doing that. So the people out there, don't do that if your video starts getting some traction. But yeah, so luckily that night, at like midnight when I came back from work, we changed the price, and then we started making money from there. I mean, we had to make back the money that we kind of lost from having it discounted so much. But I would say probably in the first week we started making money because it was still going real, fast. I mean, we were still using the money to do other things, like put back into the business. So it's not making money the same way that it's like when you go to work and they give you a check, because we started to put back into the business, but we still were making profit. So we were proud of that. And nowadays we're making profit that we can use for ourselves and not just for the business. So that's really exciting.
That is super great. And as college students, we're not the wealthiest demographic in the world. So I love that for you. Maybe one day you could spot me on U Street. We shall see. But anywho, you talked about when you started your business, you were more like fonts and labels. So talk to us about this design and kind of like the color schemes that go behind like every flavor. Like I know for Sticky Minaj, like it's pink. That makes sense. Nikki's pink. So I get that. But like, what is your process? How do you make all these graphics? Just all of that great stuff.
Yeah, so I'll pull one out. This is actually my first flavor. So for Gucci Mango, you can see the trap. Well, you can't really tell from here, but it's actually a city skyline. If you have a picture pulled up or anything, you'll be able to see it better. But and then the sticks is actually looks like graffiti spray paint. So we wanted to obviously give it an urban feel because that's like where trap music comes from. Like, so we wanted to like pay homage to obviously the music and the artists themselves by the label. And then so all of the flavors, the colors of the lip balm will match with it. So Gucci Mangoes kind of had this, rustic kind of orange. And then they all have an icon of sorts at the bottom to show what flavor it is. But they all have it written on there as well, if you can't tell. But usually people know right away. But yeah, so like if you pick up another one like Lemon M's yellow, and it still has the same concept with um yellow and lemon, and I'll show you a better one. So like with Doja Kit Kat, it's like the chocolate bar for the Kit Kat and then the wrapper. Now, me and my dad actually fought on this because he thought Kit Kats were orange. Man's is colorblind, which goes into your next question, how we make this. So my dad is actually he studied like computer science, software development, all that type of stuff. So he knows how to do graphic design. Now he's not that good at designing, so he had to kind of like ask me. Like at first it was kind of like he would do it, I would check it, tell him to go back and change a few things, but that was kind of being repetitive, and it just wasn't quick enough. And he was like, I can't get the shade that you want. I just did it. Like he didn't understand. So I just started learning how to do some of these things because it just was not effective to have him do it, especially with the Doja, because he's like, oh yeah, it looks good. I was like, no, it doesn't. So that's basically how I got into it, because we had to do it on a template and get it proofed and all that stuff before we send it out. And of course, because we want it to look the way that we want it to look. So yeah.
Well, that is very exciting. I know personally, my mom is waiting for like some R&B 90s like chapsticks and like, stuff for people their age. And so I definitely agree with what you said earlier in the episode when you said that your business is adaptable. And with that, we wish you all the best luck, and we wish that your business continues to thrive. And we also hope that you continue to have fun about it. We can see how enthusiastic and important this is to you. So in a Black-owned business, we love to see it. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of today's episode. I would like to thank Aysia so much for being with us today. And for all of you watching at home, please be sure to check out inreachinc.org for more information related to this topic, upcoming events, and other information about things going on in Prince George's County. Thank you, Aysia, so much for being with us, and we'll see everybody next time.
Thank you so much for having me.